What up, meal preppers? It's Bobby, and today we're making burgers and fries. But you know we're gonna make it super healthy, super easy, and most importantly, crazy delish. Because we are making my buffalo protein burgers loaded with black beans and spices, crispy oven roasted sweet potato and russet fries, and a kale and quinoa salad loaded with dates, pecans, and an orange vinaigrette. If you want to join the food prepping community, subscribe to my channel below. I have new videos every Friday morning and I want you to be a part of them. For our protein burgers, I have 2 pounds of ground buffalo meat in front of me. I love this stuff because it's grass-fed, low in fat, and packed with bicep packing protein. If you can't find this stuff, just use ground beef, but do me a favor, use 90-10 ground beef. To flavor this guy and make it bomb, I'm gonna reach for 2 teaspoons of smoked paprika, grab 2 teaspoons each of garlic and onion powder, and because buffalo is super lean, I wanna add some love in the moisture department by adding half a red onion that's been finely diced. It's gonna add some nice flavor too. And I did say these burgers are gonna be protein packed, so say hello to 1 cup of canned black beans. But make sure you rinse them under cold water very well to get that starchy can liquid off. Otherwise, you might be emitting some smelly gases throughout the day, and I don't want that happening to you. But last time I checked, beans are bland, so I wanna season these guys with the same stuff I put in the beef mixture. I'm gonna grab a little more of the onion, garlic, and smoked paprika, a small pinch of salt, and a couple cracks of pepper. And I didn't go to no fancy culinary school, but I did watch Food Network for 15 years, and if there's one thing I took away, well, 2, Bobby Flay rocks. And number 2, you wanna season at every step of the cooking process. That's how you build awesome flavor. Then add the beans to the buffalo mixture. Now it's time to debling and use your mix and pause and get all the ingredients thoroughly mixed. That looks perfect, and now when it comes to burgers, I have certain rules. In fact, I have a whole video dedicated to 5 tips for making the perfect burger every time. And one of those tips is size matters. When it comes to burgers at least. So I always save an old mayo lid and I keep it in my drawer. That way all my patties are the same size, same shape, and the rim on this actually makes building the burger perfect. Before you get to forming, go ahead and grab some plastic wrap and put that over the mayo lid. And that's gonna help the burgers pop out really easily after we form them. Now grab some of the burger mixture. I'm going for about 6 or 7 ounces, and then put it straight into our mold here and just pack it down. And you can see it takes the shape of the lid perfectly. And then lift up the plastic wrap, and the burger comes right out. And that wall right there, Jon Snow himself would be happy to guard that wall because that is looking damn good. And I think they look really cool with those beans kind of marbled in there, a little bit of that red from the paprika, and then put it down on a platter. And then let's form the rest of our burgers. Bobby's burger tip number 2 is these bad boys need to be cold out of the fridge when you cook them. Because right now they're getting warm, and if you cook them now, they're gonna fall apart and be mealy. So let's stash them in the fridge. You guys want fries with that? Heck yeah, we do. I got russet potatoes and sweet potatoes. It's a great mixture, and I have one tip for making the crispiest russet fries ever. You're gonna love it. But first we gotta cut these into thick cut fries. Then I'll do about like 3/4 inch fries. And while I finish cutting these up, now would be a great time to preheat your oven to 425 degrees and put 2 sheet trays in the oven while they're preheating. I'll tell you why in a few minutes. Now, russet potatoes are super starchy, and sometimes too much of a good thing is a bad thing. So we're gonna get rid of some of that starch, and that is what's gonna make them super crispy in the oven. So move all the russet potatoes to a bowl, fill up the bowl with ice cold water, and then we'll let these guys sit for about 10 minutes, and this is gonna turn really cloudy water, and that's the starch leaving the potatoes. So while that's doing its thing, we're gonna cut up our sweet potatoes into fries also. And then grab a super large bowl, and let's start with the sweet potatoes. Toss those in. And then for seasoning, I'm gonna reach for my BFF olive oil and drizzle about 2 tablespoons over. The other week, somebody left a comment on a video saying, you know it's Flav City when there's lemon zest, juice, and salt in the recipe. They forgot olive oil. When there's olive oil, that's the perfect combination of Flav City. And then reach for a good pinch of salt, and then some freshly cracked black pepper. And pretty much the only reason why I chose a big bowl is so I can play with my food and have fun. Now grab one of the sheet trays out of the oven and be super careful because this is scorching hot. And then carefully add the fries to the sheet tray. Hear that? Come on, get in there, get in there. That is creating a crispy crust immediately. So move it all into one single layer here. That way we get equal browning. And then let's get these guys in the oven. All right, now check out this cloudy mixture over here. The potatoes have been sitting for about 10 minutes. A lot of the starch has leached out and these guys are ready to drain. Now moisture, my friends, is the enemy to crispy taters. So get a clean towel, lay it out, and then put the wet fries on top. And yes, you are correct. These are the most pampered French fries ever. They got a nice soak, they're getting a soft tissue massage, but you know what? Going this extra mile is gonna make them insanely crispy. And if you don't wanna use a towel, just use a few paper towels, it works just fine. Now add them to the same bowl that the sweet potatoes were in. And then add 2 more tablespoons of olive oil. Now, judging by the last couple weeks' videos in the comments section, you guys are requesting more college meal prep or budget meal prep and more breakfast meal prep. So leave a comment below, let me know what kind of meal prep you want to see, and I will hook you up in the upcoming weeks. All right, got my second sheet tray that's scorching hot here, and then add the potatoes to that. Perfectly sizzling. One even layer once again, and toss it in the oven. Total cook time is gonna be about 35 to 40 minutes. In the meantime, we got some protein buffalo burgers to be cooking up, y'all. All right, you guys, I've got my chillax burgers from the fridge right here. Next up, I have my large cast iron pan preheating over medium heat. You want a big one, and you definitely want a cast iron pan like I've been preaching to you forever. So if you don't have one, they're super cheap. I have a link to one in Amazon in the description box below. For these burgers, now is the time to season them pretty aggressively with salt and pepper, because I don't know about you, but for burgers, I love a salt and pepper crust. It's gonna make the beefy bison flavor come out so much. Before we put the burgers in the pan, I'm gonna add just about a teaspoon or so of olive oil. That's gonna help the browning process, or if I went to culinary school, they would call that the Maillard reaction. You're so stupid, you do not know that?
Sounded like a Russian French accent, babe.
I keep trying to get the French chef, but it comes out as Russian. And then put your burgers seasoned side down. That's the sound you want to hear. They're gonna get crusty immediately. Time for Bobby's burger tip number 3. To prevent these guys from plumping up like a football while they're cooking, and I know we've all been there, right? Just take your thumb and push a little dimple in the middle, and then immediately season the other side with another generous pinch of salt and pepper. These guys go for 5 minutes on the first side, and whatever you do, resist the urge to poke or prod or peek too early, because the meat is gonna stick to the pan when you do that, and your burgers are gonna fall apart. Whenever I cook something kind of messy that splatters oil in the kitchen, I always use one of these splatter guards. This makes cleanup so much easier later on. Also, if you guys want one of these, and I highly recommend you do, I'll put it below in the description box on Amazon. I have like 3 of these in the house. Let's flip these guys over. Perfect, nice and caramelized. They have a really good crust on there. I'd say 3 or 4 minutes on the second side, and we'll evacuate. Let's get the last 2 burgers in the pan. Quick little dimple, and then a little more salt and pepper. All right, the last 2 burgers are done and looking mighty fine, if I don't say so myself. Let's get them on our platter with the other burgers. And even though I'm withholding all carnal temptation to devour these right now, I will back away and check on the sweet potato fries because they might be done. All right, y'all, it's been about 30 minutes and check out these sweet taters. They are golden brown and crispy and perfectly cooked through. The potatoes needed a few more minutes on broil because they're cooked, but they need a little more color. While those are finishing, I wanna let you guys know I have live streams every Wednesday at 4 o'clock on the Flav City Facebook page. We're cooking live dinner at Bobby's in my kitchen. You can ask me questions in real time and it's a great way to interact, so make sure you check that out every Wednesday. You guys, I'm loving this right here. Get up in that pan. That is the definition of golden brown and delicious. You know we gotta try one of these sweet potato fries. You guys, crazy creamy and sweet on the inside. The outside is crispy and caramelized. These are so good, but I gotta be an equal fry opportunist and try some of these russet fries. I'm risking 2nd-degree burns here, but I can't wait. Mickey D say what? These are so creamy and moist on the inside, And it's incredible to think we got this kind of caramelization, this kind of crispiness with 2 tablespoons of olive oil instead of a giant vat of hydrogenated crappy oil. This is where it's at, y'all. Which one do I like better?
Hey, what about the salad?
Oh yeah, I did mention something about a kale and quinoa salad packed with protein, fiber, antioxidants. Nom, 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 nom. Crazy easy to make. This is how you do it. Add 1.5 cups of cooked quinoa to a bowl, then finely slice half a bunch of kale, stems removed, and add that. Grate 2 carrots, add that to the salad, along with a 1/4 cup of chopped and toasted pecans, a 1/4 cup of dates that are finely sliced, 1/2 cup of seedless cucumbers, cubed. Give it a mix up. And then for the dressing, add the zest and juice of half an orange to a bowl, along with the juice of half a lemon, 3/4 teaspoon of Dijon mustard, a tablespoon of agave nectar or honey, a pinch of salt, a couple cracks of pepper, and then stream in 3 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil while whisking vigorously. Honestly, my favorite part of these videos is when I get to eat. This is so good. It's crunchy, nutty, sweet from the dates, plus the kale is loaded with vitamin A, C, K. The quinoa has so much fiber, protein, antioxidants. This salad is awesome. But I just dressed this baby little portion now because you want to wait until the day of or right before you have the salad to dress it with the dressing. Otherwise, it'll get soggy after 1 or 2 days. I've got my glass meal prep containers. I've got a serious looking buffet of deliciousness in front of me. Let's grab some burgers here. I'm gonna cut it in half so it fits inside the container. Look at that. Got the black beans running through there. It's cooked perfectly. Tuck it in the corner. Top her off. Add some fries. And then some kale salad. All right, you guys, burger and fries for $5 is done, and you know I cannot wait to tuck into that burger. That meat is so juicy, so flavorful thanks to the spices and the red onions. And is it me, or are my biceps literally growing by the minute from all the protein in there? It's gonna hook up your biceps too, because the recipe is below in the description box. Check it out because you guys want this in your belly. Also, subscribe to my channel. New meal preps that are healthy, delish, coming at you every Friday morning. If you want to see 2 more healthy, delicious, and epic videos, check out the ones below me right now. But I will see you next week. Until then, I say unto you what I always do. # keep on cooking. Later, guys.